welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. I am Coach Les, and I am here with Sujata Tiwari, and we are Against All Odds live podcast, and we are here today to share with you some of the great knowledge that has come about. For those of you online, this is the book that we're using as one of our filters to create the conversations. Against All Odds, No Retakes, No Manuals, Real Life Lessons by Sujata Tiwari, who is here. And due to internet issues, she is an icon versus being a real life person, but you will hear her real life voice as we get into this. Sujata has accumulated a wealth of experiences during her life, leading to insights and knowledge that cannot be coached or taught in a class. She's a mother, a wife, a journalist, a consultant, an activist, a leader, and a businesswoman, domestically and internationally. In sharing her story, Sujata strives to provide readers of all backgrounds in any part of the world with real-life examples on how to deal with the unpredictable nature of everyday life. And I want to thank each and every one of you that are here, whether you're on social media, whether you are here on Clubhouse, on stage or not. Our goal in working through this conversation today, our goal inside of, now of course, trying to get to WhatsApp so that I can actually read this, is why do people give importance to things that really no longer matter? Keeping alive relationships that have ended. What is the purpose? What's the intention? Why not just walk away if somebody gets to the point of being poopy in a relationship and it comes to that? It's like, okay, fine. See you later. Turn around and walk away. Why do that, or why not do that? That is the question of the answer of the day. And yesterday we had many little brief discussions. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Miss Sujata and have her share a little bit about the conversation and maybe even a little bit about yesterday and where we left off yesterday to get us to this point today. And with that, welcome, Sujata.
Thank you, Coach Les. Yesterday, we ended with people's shares, and there were interesting ones. One of them was that, even if it's really bad, you probably forgive and just be in the moment. For example, I think Bridget it was who shared, right, about the lady whose husband murdered her, and then at the funeral, when the guy passed away, the family decided to send flowers. So that was one case. We had Janet's case. And I still stand with the thought that if there is no relationship, then at the end of the day, when it comes to things like funerals and weddings, uh, do we have to turn up for it, or do we just bypass it in case uh, we get an invite to go, or we don't get? Then do we ask ourselves, should we not? So that's the question here, and I'm interested to know what people have to say.
And what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, okay. So like I said, in the book also, when I opened my store, I didn't tell people. And my family questioned me because Singapore is a small place. We have relatives here. We have friends, so-called friends from, back when we were growing up in childhood or something, also who stay, but we are not in touch with them at all in such a small place. So I was asked that what if, when you open the store and somebody walks in? I said, if somebody walks in, then they'll see us and say, we'll handle the moment. But I don't have to advertise when people are not there in my dictionary. And the same thing I did when Lightning got married. It was the first marriage in the family, and I was very clear that it was a wedding with a difference because of what had happened previously. And I was clear that I would only invite people who have kept in touch over the years. I was not going to have a whole host of guest lists just because we are biologically, related or whatever it is. So I walk the talk, or I practice what I preach. And as you know, Coach Les, that I keep changing my list, which I give to conscience, that if anything should happen to me, who all should be informed. There will be people who will never be informed because they just don't matter. They're not there when I'm alive. So why do I have to inform when I'm dead and gone? It's not as if, anything is going to. You had all the years to mend the bridges. You didn't mend. So we'll leave it at that. When I'm dead and gone, doesn't matter who comes or who doesn't come.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? And I'm going to pass the mic over to Sister Jeanette and hear what she has to say about the topic. And if she thought about it a little bit more from yesterday, and see what she wants to add.
I just did a study with a group of women, and we talked about taking inventory of who you're surrounded by. And sometimes Sujata had to do that, right? She had to do an inventory of those people that had no connection with her. They had no communication. And so this book said that's really healthy to do. You don't want to walk around with an obligation to someone if you don't even know who they are. Way back, about 10, 15 years ago, there was a commercial from Sprint, but this guy would just go to people's house and say he was a relative, and they just accept him in, and he'd walk out, because Sprint's commercial was to connect people. Well, he wasn't their family. He just used that as, a way to find free room and board. But, people can do that with your emotions too. They can try to manipulate them to what best serves them. And sometimes you have to take inventory. And sometimes it's okay to let them go. You just have to communicate that in order so they know, that here's why we are so disconnected. And there really isn't a relationship there. You really have to say that. You have to give that person an opportunity to hear that, so there's no confusion later on. I have a lot of cousins I've never met. I have like 101 first cousins that I didn't grow up with them. I don't know who they are. They'll call me. I try to communicate with them, and it's difficult, but it's okay. Because I don't know who they are. There's no emotional connection. But when you are emotionally connected, and there's some type of conflict, one person may have closure and the other person may not. So it's always good to communicate that, because what if one, as we discussed at the beginning of yesterday's topic, what if one passes away? What if it's the one that has this, doesn't know why, has not had closure, doesn't know what happened in the relationship, and now that person's gone? We have to have some type of communication that allows those emotions some type of closure and understanding and agree upon. What if they had an opportunity to repair that conflict? There's all these woulda, coulda, shouldas, and nobody should have to live their life
in that way,
ever. Yet people feel like it's okay to do that. It's almost like they use it like a punitive measure versus, hey, I'm just going to take inventory and let me see, let me let everybody know what I'm doing. There is all that that emotional baggage that's carried with the person that says, I don't know what happened. What could I have done? What should I have done? No one should have to live like that. Look, we can't, when we pass away, we don't carry any of that with us. We don't. But, you never know. You never know what happens on the other side. Don't leave anything unresolved, ever, because it will come back to you in some form or fashion. They call that karma, and karma happens in many different ways. So we don't want to leave anything unfinished, unaccomplished, uncommunicated. Give the person the opportunity. And when I have relatives that I don't have any, there's nothing there. We haven't had any shares in life. Now, when I talk about shares in life, I'm talking about no birthday celebrations, no family get-togethers, no sharing of vacation pictures, no invites to birthday parties or weddings, no sharing of newborns, grandchildren, none of that. And then they want a relationship with you, but it has to be under their condition. And there's a reason, or they have an underlying, what can I get? So you have to always take inventory. And it's okay. It is okay to do that. Just don't carry around those woulda, coulda, shouldas. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Well said, Janet, as usual.
Nice. Thank you, Jeanette. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Manis.
Yes, Coach. I really don't know the topic.
So here.
What we was talking about yesterday. I was not there, but
here's the topic. I can share it with you. Okay.
Okay.
Why do people give importance to things that no longer matter? Keeping alive relationships that have ended.
That's very deep. But I will give my own answer. For myself, what I think is, what is important is life. The most important is life.
There you go.
The thing that I have is not mine. Because when I come from my mother's stomach, I come with nothing. And when I'm going, I will go with nothing, only with God, the Holy Spirit. That's why I learn what I have. If someone don't have, I have to share what I have. I don't say to give everything. Stay with the house empty, with your account empty. I don't say that. But if you have, Lord, speak on your mind to share with your brother, with your sister, yes, you have to. Because when you die, you're going to leave everything. Especially if you're not married, you don't have husband, you don't have kids, you don't have sister, brother, auntie, uncle. Who you going to leave it for? Just for the things. If you have money in your bank, you will stay in your bank for the bank. Who you going to give it to? And you cannot go with it. And you cannot wake up yourself to say, hey, I have $1,000, $2,000 in the bank. Hey, give it to me. Let me eat it. Let me dress with it before I go. Just your life. That's my part.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing, Manis. Appreciate you. And with that, let me just get back to the page here. No. No. Oh, come on, Clubhouse. Where are you? I can hear you. There we are. So I think that part of the journey now, the question becomes, after last night, I think the upset became, are we willing to forgive somebody? Are we willing to stand on the skinny branches, totally in this attack? I mean, in society attacks us every day in how we show up in these particular times and how we show up inside of relationships that have ended. I believe society wants us to be fixated on the media, fixated on all of that world. They're not interested in us at being happy, being elated, and coming together in a beautiful way. Being happy and angelic news doesn't sell. Drama, poopy news, and hurt people sell. And it's always been a difficult thing for me. I think it's super frustrating, and I want to make a change. And one of the places I see to make a change is right here in these rooms. One piece at a time, one person at a time, one conversation at a time. And I think that when we look at what is driving all of this drama, that's the disappointing news. That's the frustrating news. That's the point where it says, wow, if I can get 100 people to get and commiserate, we're going to make money. And so with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Sister Jeanette and hear her 2 cents on my conspiracy theory. Go for it, Jeanette.
Well, there definitely is something awry in people's minds, right? What are they being influenced by? It always comes to that. What is influencing people that by having an adult conversation, it doesn't take that long. You tell somebody, I don't think this relationship is working. I don't think there's anything there. What's wrong with that? It's being truthful. It allows the other person to have some questions answered, to see, hey, maybe the person has an opportunity to say, oh, good. Yeah, I agree with you. Because they know there's too much drama, right?
Amen.
It gives that opportunity. Yeah, right? Because usually the ones that have the issues are the ones that have the drama. Usually the ones that have kindness are the ones that want to build relationships. They don't have that judgment in them. So what is influencing people to where they don't even think about what they're doing to a relationship? What is going on in their head? What is their influence? Yeah, it could be their culture, their environment. They watch too much reality TV. We talked about that before. They watch the news, and after sitting there for hours and hours watching the news that makes money off of spinning stories into things that develop in people's minds, these conspiracy theories, right? So they sit there for hours and hours and hours. Well, what do you think happens to your brain, your thinking after you watch something like that? You no longer, you can lose your ability to think logically, emotionally, and rationally. And maybe it also triggers the inability to handle conflict. And you see many times that when there's conflict, what do people do? They run. they run the other way. They don't confront it. They don't take care of it. And a lot of times it comes with a disagreement that happened in the relationship. You know, and as we're talking about this, a father and son had a conflict. Here it is 20 years later, they talk and they can't ever remember what the conflict was about. Can you imagine that? 20 years, they finally come together. They can't remember what the conflict was about. What 20 years of life sharing that they lost out on. There was a marriage. There were children born. Now there's grandchildren. His father missed out on some really great years in the birth and growth of his children. Those are lost years. Those are years that his children could have had some great influence from their grandparents, some good quality time. Who knows? But you know, when you hear that 20 years and they can't remember why, you know, and most times when people are young, you know, or they're not married, they think they're invincible. They know everything, so they're always in this confrontational state with their parents. You don't know. I know. They have the I know syndrome. I know everything. You don't know. And that builds up walls between the parents and their children. Of course, what happens when the children have their children, they realize they're becoming just like their parents. And they have that aha moment. Aha, now I know what they were talking about. You know, but 20 years to go that long and miss out on all those years, the grandparent, you know, having their influence in contribution to that child's upbringing. And now they have grandchildren, and hopefully they can spend the quality time they missed out. Or great-grandchildren, and now they can have the quality time they missed with their grandchildren. That's a sad story. It's a very sad story. But it happens more and more these days. It's happening more. It's happening more where children don't take the time to spend with their parents. They don't call them as often. They call them once a year, twice a year. They don't even spend holidays with them anymore. And I see that a lot living in Florida. I see that a lot. People are here, they're retired, and their sons and daughters don't call them or spend time with them during the holidays. What are we doing to ourselves? You know, and there in lies alone, you know, a lot of the woulda, coulda, shouldas. You still have your parents. Spend time with them. Call them. You have friends that you used to be close. What happens? Yeah, we grow apart sometimes, but your personalities haven't changed, and you still think about them, but you don't reach out to pick up a phone to call them or look them up. What happens to people when that happens? Why do they get disconnected from life? What is the influence that is causing them to do that? So that's part of my share. Let's see what you have to say.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to Maniz. Go for it, Maniz.
Oh.
I love it when people, with these kind of questions, when people come off the microphone and they're laughing.
Sometimes it's the parents.
Yes.
You know, when you have a kid like myself, I have 7 children. Thank you, Lord. I'm still with my husband for 24 years. We feel we're blessed. And I raised my kids to know that they are blessed. And I show them how to put happiness and them face even bad situation. And I show them not to run away from your parents if cause something happen. Sometimes I know I can be mad for something that you are doing. I'm not happy with it. I am Haitian. We don't play with kids that much, but we play with them. We love them. But the time that to discipline you, yes, we're doing that. If I tell you not to go outside without my permission, my husband's permission, you go, we discipline you for that.
Amen.
For myself, I always tell my kids, if you do something wrong, I encourage you. You left my house. I will let you stay outside. I am not going to look for you. Already know you have somewhere to go. You was do your planification to find somewhere to go. I will let you enjoy your life. When you come into me, if I was playing with you as a kid, offer you everything, now I'm going to hold what I have. Because you have to taste life. You do your experience already. I fight for the little one who stay in my house. If I let you to come in to do everything that you want to do in the house because you left my house without my permission and because you was doing something bad, something wrong, and you have little one come after you, I am not going to beg on you until you fix the problem. When you fix the problem, you will be my friend again. Be friend with your kids. The problem is most of parents. When they have money, they prefer to give it to friends. They prefer to enjoy it outside without let your kids know what you're doing. Even your husband supposed to know what are you doing as a woman, and you have to know what your husband doing. Also, the kids have to know what you're doing inside the house, even at work or outside. Always have a little program for your family. Always sit down with your kids, your little girls, your boy. Show them life. Talk to them about life. Talk to them about the Bible. Teach them. Raise them to be happy. Sometimes you probably get up, you don't have nothing inside the house to give them, but show them. Let them know, don't go outside. Put your belief to the Lord. He will provide what we need inside the house. When you raise your kids like that, do you think he will be run away from you? When your kids leave your house to go for college or university, when he's in vacation, he will come right here to your house because he will know the best friend that he have after Lord is you, mother, father, my sister, my brother. He cannot go away from me. Raise your kids to be happy, raise your family to be happy, even bad situation. That's my part.
Thank you so much, Manis. Oh, we lost Kathy. Okay. Gertrude, Alexander, come on up, or Katash, if you guys want to come up and join the conversation. Sujata, what are your thoughts about what's been said so far?
I think there is a time and place when you can have the what if could, shoulds, conversation. And if that time stretches into years and years, and either you've had the conversation and there is a closure, or there is no closure from one party because the one party doesn't want to talk. You can't force people to talk and to have a conversation. Then there's a deadlock. Then you just have to let it go. You have to let it go, and then you have to move on, because you can only build a relationship, you can only build bridges if it takes two to tango. And if the situation doesn't resolve, there's no letting go or forgiveness or resolution or anything on whatever is hurting, or miscommunication, anything. Then what do you do? Then it's a matter of choice. Then each one lives with their choice. But then don't be later on have regrets and say, oh, I should have and could have, because you had time. You always have time, and you choose not to close the door or to open the door or do anything about it. Then fine. Then when the day comes that more, then saying sorry, feeling sorry doesn't really help.
The name of the game. So the question then becomes for me is, if I'm not able to say I'm sorry and be forgiven, what are the chances of reconcile? That's my question to you, Sujata.
Well, if you're trying to say sorry and would like to reconcile, and the other party is not, then you have to just not be hard on yourself and move on. If you are feeling and you're wanting to say sorry, even though it's, what happens if it's not your fault, but still, to for the relationship sake, you're willing to say sorry just to start a conversation, or to come halfway through, and that also is from the other side very hard-heartedly not even encouraged. Then what do? Then you have to move on, right? I mean, I for one I'm not going to run after uh, people, no matter who they are, if they are not willing to, you know it's not a mutual thing, because it cannot always be laid at one person's door. Like, you cannot be always nasty to me and I should still be nice and kind to you.
No, then you're a doormat.
Exactly. And then you are going to be, that's why there's a saying that the kindest people are the most mistreated.
I resemble that remark.
Yep.
Jeanette, were you going to chime in something?
I think Janet we should subscribe because she's gone through it.
Oh, let me tell you, I've gone through a lot. Let me tell you. I could probably pull up a lot of examples. I just, one of the things that popped in my head, when you are emotionally tied to someone and even sorry doesn't work, they don't realize that they have to go through a grief process as if they lost you. As if you're not there anymore. You're not on this world anymore. Because they have these emotional ties to you, and that's why they're trying to, or they're working to resolve this conflict, because they want to rebuild that relationship. And when you say no, you're putting them through this grief process, and it is as if they lost you in life. It is a grieving process, and we try to keep each other through. We don't want people to go through life in grief, to go through those phases of grief, but that's what happens. It really does. But when you're up front and able to put closure on it, it kind of helps a little bit. It helps a little bit, but not a whole lot, because you still have that grief process. You're saying it's not going to work. I'm taking inventory. I'm just cutting you out. This relationship isn't going to work. No matter how nice you try to put it, it's still like a knife cutting through, and there is a grief process. That's what came in mind when Sujata was talking about it. You can be kind, you can be trying to resolve the issue. It's that emotional connection you have with that. Doesn't work and it has to be cut off. It's painful, emotionally draining and painful. That's what came to mind when Sujata was giving her information.
Exactly. If I'm already dead in somebody's dictionary, then that's it is. It doesn't matter if I'm alive or whatever I'm going through. For the other person, I'm dead and gone. My physical death is of no relevance.
You hope that people with a kind heart and compassion can hear this, and that if they're being influenced by anything that doesn't help in the relationship life, that they will see this as an opportunity to self-evaluate. Are they doing that? Is that what they're doing with people that everybody should take the time to reevaluate that and improve on it. If they're being influenced by anything that is negatively impacting their culture or their environment, kind of makes it a little bit difficult, doesn't it? That's
Jeanette, you seem to be going in and out.
yes, I hit a dead zone.
Okay, well, now I can hear you. So do you want to repeat what you just said?
What did I say, Coach? Can you remind me? No, I'm just kidding.
I can't remind you because I didn't hear it.
Oh, no, I'm hitting another dead zone, Coach.
No, you're fine. We can hear you.
All right. What I said is that people need to have the opportunity to self-evaluate. Take the opportunity to look at yourself to see what are you doing that are creating these barriers in important relationships. What is influencing your life and your decisions, your emotions, that is negatively impacting your culture and your environment? Take the time to correct it or improve upon it. I'm heading into a really nice storm, and I think it's cutting off my signal, Coach.
Well, I can hear you. You just said you're heading into a nice storm.
Great. I'm glad you can hear me because it's getting pretty dark here. I love it. I just don't like driving in it. We have to take the time to self-evaluate. Does anybody know what that means? Self-evaluate. Admit that you're wrong. Look at why you're wrong. Look at what you're doing wrong in your life. Look for correction. If you're not able to do that, then you need a coach. You need someone to help you through that process, to help you be able to evaluate yourself and hold you accountable for the changes that you need to make in your life. That's what the coach does. And Coach Les is good at it. So there he is, right there. So thank you, Coach. That's my share. Self-evaluate, improve. Look at what you're doing wrong in your relationships. And it's not always about admitting that you're wrong when you aren't, because then you're not in integrity with yourself. It's always about admitting what your contribution is in the relationship. Where could you improve? How can you make that relationship better? And admit to that, but don't take blame for it, because now you're just being codependent. That's my share.
Appreciate it. So for me, one of the things that I look at in this game of life and possibility in this conversation is I'm thinking of a couple of people that I've just recently dealt with, where something was said by one of them and they don't know what it was that they said, and it shattered the relationship to the point of they split, and no longer, one no longer wanted to be in communication with the other person. So much so that they even blocked him. And I look at this and I go, how do you go from being so enamored in a friendship and this brother sister relationship, my brother from another mother, my sister from another mother, and walking away from that friendship and being unwilling to weather the storm, so to speak, and say, hey, you made this comment, you made this statement, and what I heard was this. And based on hearing that, I don't want anything to do with you at the moment. And can you explain why you said it and what the purpose was? And for me, as I hear that, I look and go, as I spoke yesterday, my two older sisters not communicating since they were 14 and 12. And I look and I go, what can you have such a positional point of view on that you're willing to throw away a friendship? Being a friend and having that friendship is such a rare trait. And such a difficult thing to find people that align so well. Isn't it worth investigating that perhaps you said something inaccurately? Perhaps your interpretation of something was inaccurate. Perhaps your view of something was different. And because of the view that you had, it was miscommunicated. And I look at this and I see this so much. And I think, where's the tolerance of humanity? Where's the tolerance of allowance for a miscommunication? See, if I get upset by a friend I say it's my job. It's my adultness that says, hey, you just triggered me and I just got upset and I want to dig into our conversation because I don't think that you would maliciously want to trigger me or get me upset or go to war with me around this topic, and come to find out that XYZ had happened and I spoke and I snapped at a conversation and you heard that snap as me being no longer interested in our friendship. And it's to go from 0 to 100 in this negativity, or to go from 0 to 100 in, I'm going to throw away my entire friendship with you based on the fact that you said something that I interpreted a certain way. I say you owe it to yourself to take that conversation apart and look at the pieces before you go running off the cliff. And I think people today are too fast at running off the cliff because the cliff is dramatic. Go ahead, Jeanette.
Well, what came to mind when you were talking about the ages of your sisters when they stopped talking to each other? I can only hear them now. You know what you did. You know what you said. And they're like, what? Because they're at an age where they're just so immature. How could they have, what could have happened that it would have severed their relationship? There could be many things that happened. I know I have a couple of friends that, their kids have different fathers. And because of that, their relationships were their sibling relationship was so strained. There could be a lot of things, but one of the things that sticks out is where is the adult? Where is the adult? Why did the adults not come in to help remedy that conflict? That's another question to ask. You don't want, or be strong if you know that anybody is having that type of conflict and they don't even know what it is. Somebody said something, somebody did something, or like two young girls, what you did, what you said, but nobody really says what was said or did. They just use that to just keep this feud going. Be the person to help mediate these types of conflicts. You'd be surprised what you can accomplish in trying to resolve those conflicts. So thank you for sharing that, Coach.
You're welcome. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Coach. I missed most of it. I'm getting ready for Shine Ministry. They're going to pick me up in a couple of minutes. Are you going to be in a replay?
It is, replays are on, so you'll hear it.
Okay, I'll see it. I'll see it. Did I just say that? I'll hear it when I get back home.
Awesome. We'll look forward to hearing what you have to say next week or tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow night.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. I want to say hello to everybody. I'll talk to you later.
Awesome.
And God bless everybody.
God bless you. And if you want to just sit here and chit chat and listen in, you sure can.
Yeah, I'll listen until the bus picks me up. That's what I'll do.
Perfect. All right, Manis.
Yes, coach. I hear what you was saying about your sister. Me, I was in a large family, and don't think that I am crazy. But my father have 29 kids. Don't think I'm crazy. Don't think I was in a crazy family. No. He have 29 kids, but we are different mother, but the same father. In America, we 10 of us in America. Even we stay with a close connection. When we are together, if we don't tell people, hey, we're not the same mother, you cannot know we are not the same mother. It depends how my parents raised us. He raised us to grow up together. And he showed us how sister and brother live. I'm understand. That's why you have 5 fingers. All of them not the same. Look your hands. Look your hands. Some of them they are jealous. Some of them maybe they say, hey, thing going well for you, thing not going well for the other one. He put himself away. That's why when we go to Publix or inside your house, you have a little balance. You always take weight. By you take weight, you will see today how much you weight and tomorrow how much you weight, right? If you lost some weight, if you get some weight, is the way family is. Some of them, they are jealous because you can have a better job or a better house or better something, whatever. They cannot have it. But what I look myself, if I see my sister or my brother like this, what I do, I pass my hand. I say, hey, let's go up together. And I am not going to leave you behind. Even I know why you put yourself away from me, but let's go together. Invite that sister to come in your house, to spend some hours with you. Have a good communication, not negative communication, not the past. Because some past, he put water in your eyes. Some past, he make you regret in your life. Some past, he make that person hate you more if he have something inside his heart or her heart for you. But what to do, you sit down, interested, listening, communicate. You will find where the problem is. You try to fix it together. Then this person will be happy. Or sometimes probably she did something she's not supposed to do. Hey, she feels shame and she put herself in the corner. But as a big brother or little brother, God pass with you. Take that person away from that corner. Say, let's go together. Let's go together. And you make her feel like she has somebody like the way you are. We was happy. We was as a family. That's why Jesus Christ, he left 99 sheep to go get only one who was lost. And when he was found it, he was happy, very happy. That's why he called the angels. He said, rejoice, because I found the little one who was lost. So, coach, go look after your sister. And I can tell you, good job. You did it. But probably this is not enough.
If you have to leave your house to go to your sister's house, do that for her. Invite her to come into your house. If she don't want to go, tell her I am going. Because we are sisters, we are brothers. We have to grow up together. We have to have good communication. The relation to be restart over again. That's my part.
Thank you so much, my niece. Woof. Wow. All right. Sujata, any final thoughts before we stream down till tomorrow?
No.
No, that's I'm glad there weren't many words in that answer.
No is a complete answer.
Is there anything you'd like to share with our audience before we close?
Look forward to the audience again tomorrow night, should they choose to come back.
And I thought it would be funny to share this, especially my niece, after what you were just shared. The person that has had the most children is a Russian lady who had 69 children from natural birth. Yeah. And this is what made it very interesting. She gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. And only 2 of them didn't survive.
That she survived is a miracle.
And the father of those children, Fyodor, went on to marry another person and fathered 18 more children. And this was back in 1725 to 1765. So I thought you'd find that interesting. I had to look that up. All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, this ends our podcast for the evening. Look forward to coming back tomorrow. And we will have fun with adding another twist to the conversation to tomorrow. And with that, I will do a quick little commercial here on the VideoCast, and then I'll come back and close the room.